It's Blixa. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Laci. I'm an over 40, no niche creative, using weekly themes to use up my art supplies and my fabric stash. This is what I made for Florals for spring groundbreaking week. Florals for spring groundbreaking week. So, okay, the first project that I had planned was to make a Bridgerton bag inspired by the Netflix show Bridgerton from the Julia Quinn novels. My favorite book is The Viscount Who Loved Me. So that's Kate and Anthony's book, and they are the second season of Bridgerton. Anthony is afraid of bees, and there are bees and wisteria draped. There's wisteria draped over everything on that show. All the exteriors of the Bridgerton house have wisteria on them, and so I had planned to make a wool and wax tote, which is a pattern by Noodlehead, and I painted wisteria and planned to applique it to the front of the bag. Okay. This is the bag. This is the Bridgerton bag. I have almost used up all of this purple fabric and some random remnant. The lining is some gray that I've had forever, and I put in. No, you're gonna knock it all over. You can't do that. It has 3 slip pockets. Blixa, you can't do that. It's gonna knock it over. And there's 2 big pockets in the front. And this panel I quilted, and this was from Beeswax Week. I had waxed it. I had to do it again and add more beeswax, and this time I did it with parchment and an iron, and it was still annoying, but slightly less so. And I really like the way the quilting looks on it, if you can see the detail. This is the first time I've used this type of rivet D-ring holder on a bag this big. It does move around a lot. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think with some use, something you get used to. And I made the strap from the coordinating exterior fabric. So I was planning on adding wisteria along, like draping along the top. I just couldn't get the tones to match, because this is like almost a eggshell, like an antique white, and even like trying to match the tones and the flowers on the bag, I kind of couldn't get it right. So I couldn't get the tones quite right, but I do still like the idea of wisteria hanging off of a bag and applique. So I think I just have to hold it for another project. And honestly, this is really nice on its own. So, you know, I had a plan, but as so often happens, the plan becomes something else. But the good thing was I used up some of that beeswax, and I used some fabric that I've had for a long time. I did also cut another wool and wax. This is a smaller version. And I cut into this really, really nice digital print fabric. I've had a 1/4 yard of it for years, and it was in with my special fabrics, and I thought, Florals Week, I better do something with it. I get nervous about really light tones of white as in a bag exterior, just because, like, I can't not spill coffee or ketchup or anything on me, or just put it down and somehow there's dirt on it. So I think, so I'm experimenting with ways to seal it with things that I already have. So we're using some gel medium. And I did actually put a little glaze of some lighter lavender on there as well. So I'm thinking like this for another woolen wax. We'll see. Didn't get done in time for Florals week, but is ready to go for the next time I have time. I think that's where it was. I had to move the camera. Okay, so my second goal for makes for Florals week was flash for tattooing. And surprisingly, that was I'm trying to do things to make me work, work and integrate everything together. But that was the one I put off until the last minute. But I did do some today. And I do still need to do more. And the goal with that is just use some of the flower references that are already on my camera that I've had for a long time. So that'll be in post. You'll be able to see that. The main project this week was sunflower paintings. Because I set up and take down my paints, I use the same desk that has my sewing machine. So if I'm going to paint, I move the sewing machine and I get the paints I need mostly and kind of move them back and forth. So for me, it makes sense to paint multiple surfaces, multiple things at one time while I have the paint out. So instead of just painting one sunflower, I paint in multiples, and that way they can dry in stages, and you can also do different styles. So like I mentioned in the intro video for Florals Week, during the first month of COVID, first month and a half, I did painting tutorials, like live streams on Facebook. I would do a quick version and then a more elaborate one. Kind of took that idea for this week, and I made a short, and I'm making a step-by-step voiceover video as well for the simple watercolor painted sunflower. And that was drawn with Sharpie, and then I just did fluid acrylics over it. And Sharpies are permanent. They are not water soluble when they're dry, so you can go right over them without it smudging. I pretty much use fluid acrylics for everything, with the addition of some paint markers. This one, watercolor. So yeah, I got a few shorts out of it, just some time-lapse stuff. This one is on canvas board's tricky. I end up with it sometimes, and I'm not really sure why, because I don't feel like I buy it very often. It can warp very easily, so I'm actually going to take this one. I have a piece of scrap wood. I'm gonna put those in a hanger so that in the future this will stay. It's actually pretty heavy now, so that'll stay nice and flat. But with this one, because it was on a sturdier surface, this isn't watercolor paper, I could use the gold paint marker, which is one of my favorite things, even though the smell is the better. Here's a fun fact. The better the gold, the more realistic the gold looks, the shinier it is, the more toxic it smells. But that's what you want in a gold paint marker. It's just probably good to have a window open. Okay. So that's 3 sunflowers, and then I did 3 postcards as well from, 4, I guess. Although that one kind of just in like the ocean. I feel like this is my new favorite style to paint, and I have a William Blake poem on the back. Lettering is not a strong suit of mine. I have pretty bad handwriting, so I try to be Okay, but this kind of loose field of flowers, like almost children's illustration, because I painted this. It's just just these tiny little worlds, I think, because this is a painting that I've been working on. Same idea. This is on wood. Yeah, kind of same idea where you there's not really a subject other than the field. And I'm sure it's in response to the lack of nature. So yeah, so working more on that. I also did another one. I did one more postcard and I lost it. I have no idea. I've got piles of things and I don't know. I'm sure I'll find it, and probably we'll find it next week, because next week, spring cleaning. So it's going to be spring cleaning and catch up for all the little projects like my wool and wax I have cut, or my moon phases quilt blocks. I want to get that quilt top together, and everything that we've made so far through January to it'll probably be close to April. Just a little bit of catch up before we go into the next part of the year, the next season. Okay. But I do like making shorts, and I like making time lapses, and this made me want to paint more, just so if anyone has requests for more flowers. I also said that I wanted to get just a little more political this week, and so I've been working on that as well. Yeah, but in the comments, let me know if you like the shorts, longer versions, me talking, too much music, not enough talking, etc. I'm still figuring it out. Thanks for watching.